Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to another installment in our tips and tricks video for Golf Blitz, the mobile game for Android and iOS. I have been having quite a bit of fun with these, and today's course is one that gets a little bit intense. And it's because it has some very unconventional movement surrounding it. That, of course, is the gym. Now, personally, I don't like gyms just in general. It's not a venue that I fit in very well with. And unfortunately, I do feel similarly about the layout of some of these courses, as it can take a little bit to get used to and then use efficiently. But we are here to help you not struggle with it as much as I have seen others do so. So as we jump into today's course breakdown, make sure that you subscribe if you have not done so already, as that subscription is free and easy, and I provide you with the daily variety content. And if you enjoyed today's video or find it helpful, make sure that you hit that like button. So let's go to the gym. Alright, so with any of these tours, there's a couple of things that you need to keep in mind. I can't demo it on this one specifically because I don't have access to the sticky ball, but your best course of action in a lot of these holes is going to be sticking to the wall and then getting a follow-up shot from there. But if you don't have access to that, the best thing that you can do for this particular course is take a shot that allows you to roll down onto the right side of that barbell and then make a short little shot down to the next lowest barbell before getting in one final chip shot either down towards the green or at least getting closer to the point where you can get a closer follow-up putt. But the sticky ball is going to be a very powerful move in your kit when it comes to getting a lot of these, because you can circumvent a lot of the trickier mechanics of these courses. So for this one, the intended course is for you to make your way down these shifting barbells, but you can space it just right to the point where you end up on this lower one, or if you do end up getting a shot while the barbell is tilted as it's positioned currently, you can occasionally drop down onto the lower portion of this dual-phased putting green. From there, it's really just going to be best course of action to putt to that center divide and then over to the edge. But again, if you have access to the sticky ball, it's going to make matters a lot easier if you can just stick to one of the walls further down the course and then get a nice chip in to the actual putting green itself. Now this is another one that I do recommend that you use the sticky ball, and we will use that in today's video. If not, the intended course is to take a high rising shot up over the top here, get onto that treadmill. If you can time it properly, you can actually just bounce off of this non-sticky portion of the rotating platform and then get a easier follow-up down to the bottom portion there. But like I said, in most, if not all circumstances, it's going to be best for you to take a sticky ball shot onto the wall, because even if you don't have enough elixir points to get the sticky ball onto the actual green, they've got nice little backs on them in more circumstances than not that allow you to give a nice little chip onto the green and either a short follow-up for actually closing out the hole or rolling directly into the hole itself. So this hole is really easy if you have some very specific power-ups. And the specific power-ups I speak of is the Super Ball, because you can just go right up to the top and take your shot all the way up here to this top treadmill, occasionally getting an ace or a hole-in-one. If not, you'll have a very easy follow-up. If you don't have access to that, of course, the best thing that you can do, at least initially, is take some shots onto these lower platforms, and then if you want, you can continue up this way and take this longer treadmill over to this area of the sticky that's there. If you have the resources to get away with it, though, you may want to invest a shot in skipping that section altogether, because it will give you an opportunity to get around some of your opponents. But the best case scenario is you have the Super Ball and you can just take a direct shot up to the top there and circumvent all of the zigzagging of that course back and forth. Here we are, the item that I was hoping to showcase with this hole. Again, I've talked about it, but if you have the Super Ball, you can just circumvent the entirety of this course, get right up to the green, and if you play it correctly, you can get an ace, but if not, you have a very, very easy follow-up for that course in particular. And there are other options of what you can do there if you don't have the Super Ball, but the best option by far is using that power-up to skip right to the top of the course. I actually really, really enjoy this particular hole. So you do want to start by getting up over here onto this platform, and then you'll want to take a higher shot and see if you can get through that first divide, because if you do, you'll go through the green portal, and that'll pop you directly into the hole. So ideally, you can get through that in only 2 shots, where a lot of the other ones require additional follow-ups. A very fun mechanic. I really enjoy that hole. And this one. So this hole can be a little bit interesting because you can get a high enough bank shot occasionally onto the back end of this treadmill where you can fall down onto the green or even onto that rotating platform. It's not a guarantee, which is kind of a downer, though if you have access to a couple of balls, like the Super Ball specifically, that gives you a lot of power, you can bank off of this other wall here and then make your way down onto the sticky portion. But let's see if we can get one other follow-up here onto the platform. It seems that we just missed it. If you're not feeling gutsy enough to go for that particular approach, of course, you will want to get onto this treadmill and have it throw you ideally into that portion, and you'll want to aim for about that second bike that's in here, because that's going to give you enough speed in order to get onto this portion. Now, the suggested route is coming down here, but I do find it a lot easier to just take a chip shot onto this treadmill for a much easier follow-up to the actual standard and the putting green there. So if you're feeling gutsy, or if you have access to moves that can get you off the edge of that treadmill at the very top of the course, or banking off of the far wall onto the rotating sticky platform, of course that's going to be your best option, but there are other routes available to you depending on which route you decide to go, as well as what power-ups you have available to you. So another interesting thing that you can do on this hole, if you have the sniper ball, you've got just enough clearance, or you can get just enough clearance to get a shot and a chip up and over the top. If you fail it, that just gives you a little bit more of a buffer zone to get a nice follow-up there. But an ace is possible if you have your aim just pixel perfect. So as I've mentioned before, the best option that you can go for in a lot of circumstances is just using a sticky ball to get over onto the wall area, because it allows you for more direct follow-ups onto lower portions of the course. Now, you will want to attempt to familiarize yourself with what the different shot trajectories are as to where you can end up. But if you do position yourself at the correct angle of attack, you can get very easily in on these lower sections of the course and even bank off of the end of the barbells for much easier follow-ups there. This hole is one that can be fun and infuriating at the same time. So the sticky ball is going to be the hands down best option you can get, because there is a very narrow opportunity for you to take a shot just straight down to the green. And you can pull it off without access to the sticky ball, but it gets a lot harder to do so. Mainly because there's a very small end of the dumbbell right there that you're expected to bank off of. So honestly, you're probably not going to get that unless you have access to the sticky ball. So your next best option is taking a chip shot in here, and then hopefully being far enough over to the point where the dumbbell can just kind of knock you over to the other side, so you can then get up onto either this sticky portion, or you can just take a direct shot over here onto this treadmill, which will then spit you out right onto the green. And once you're there, it's a lot easier to stay on unless you have an opponent with a grenade that throws you off. But the hole is very clearly intended to be approached coming back from the right side on kind of a boomerang track, rather than chipping down to it directly. But it can be done. I have done it. It is very difficult to do without the sticky ball. So like I said, if you do have access to the sticky ball, this shot is significantly easier, albeit you have to be very particular on the angle of attack that you choose when going for this particular shot. And right like that, you've made your way down to the lower section of the course, which is a lot nicer for these easy follow-ups there. Here's another hole that's actually quite a bit of fun. Now, there's a couple of different things that you can do here. If you have the sticky ball, of course, your best option is going to be sticking to one wall or the other. Here, it really doesn't matter because of the symmetry of the course. If you don't have access to the sticky ball, I recommend taking a higher bank shot up here, seeing if you can roll off of one of these edges of the weights on these barbells that will then bounce you onto the treadmill and get you onto a lower section. But if you do have the sticky ball like we do, then the best thing that you can do is take a shot over here to the wall and then get over onto these treadmills. Ideally, if you can get a lower angle of attack onto it, then you're going to have an easier time getting down onto the actual putting green. If you bounce around off of some of those standards, it's okay, but the optimal path is being able to chip down directly onto those treadmills that feed you down onto the putting green and then getting a nice follow-up from that point. Here's another fun one, and this one will require multiple shots in order to really get it down. The first thing that you need to do is get a lower chip down onto this lower section, and then you are going to need to ride these treadmills back and forth in order to make your way down to the bottom. Apparently I was coming on way too strong towards that bottom one there. And you've just got to be able to place it decently, because if you get placed too far back, you'll come up too short and you'll not quite make it to the dumbbell itself. And if you go on too far, like you saw in the first shot, then you have some difficulties actually making your way down to the base there. But those are decent options. There's not a whole lot of use for using the sticky ball to circumvent the actual course itself, but it's a very linear course, all things considered. But that is going to do it. I've played through everything and showcased every course in this tour at least once, as far as I'm aware. If you feel like there's anything that I missed, any courses in the tour that I missed, or any strategies on the holes that I missed, be sure to drop those in the comments down below, and I will highlight those in a future episode before getting into the meat of the course up for that day. Once again, if you made it this far into the video, make sure that you subscribe for that daily variety content, and don't forget to leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks again for watching, everyone, and I hope that you have an absolutely fantastic rest of your day.